Look at question 2. You're going to hear a presentation about the early history of films. The text will be in 2 parts, each with a different task. But first you have 30 seconds to study the 2 tasks. Now listen to part 1.
It all began in the early 1890s, when moving pictures or movies were invented. At first, these films were very short indeed, only about 1 minute long. They limited themselves to showing simple, everyday actions and movements. But after 1900, storytelling movies lasting 15 minutes or so became the norm. The most popular genre was comedy, and the most famous of the comic actors was Charlie Chaplin, who became the first movie superstar. Audiences grew, and businessmen responded by building bigger and bigger cinemas. The biggest of them all was the Roxy Theatre in New York. It could seat an amazing 6,200 people. By the mid-1920s, movies were America's 4th largest industry. 20,000 cinemas sold 100 million tickets a week. Huge studios in Los Angeles were producing around 800 films a year, 80% of the world's total output.
Now listen to part 2.
Around this time, however, everything suddenly changed. Up till then, all movies had been silent, with no sound. Actors didn't speak. Instead, they used body language and facial expressions to tell the story. Cinemas also employed musicians, usually pianists, to add extra feeling and atmosphere. But then, in 1927, a film called The Jazz Singer appeared. It was the first talking movie, and it was a sensation. All the major movie studios quickly introduced sound. This proved very popular with audiences, which doubled in the next 5 years. The change was, however, not so popular with people who had been successful in silent movies. Many of them lost their jobs, starting with the pianists. Actors and actresses were also badly affected. In the old days, how they spoke didn't matter. It was enough to be good-looking. But now, stars from Germany, France, and other European countries had to improve their English pronunciation very quickly, or else lose their jobs. It was even worse for any American star who happened to have an ugly voice. His or her acting career was now definitely over.